Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Jai Hind, and welcome to Khan Global Studies. So, I hope I am properly audible and visual to all of you. Good evening, Megha. Good evening, Shivshankar. So, I guess I am properly audible and visual to all of you. Good evening. So, in the last session, I asked you one question, and no one has answered that. I have asked this one question, that what do you think about emergency? What lessons we have got from there? That emergency has been considered as one of the darkest chapter of Indian democracy. So in that context, I have asked you this one question, that what do you think about this? Why democracy? What lessons we have got from there? So no answer about that. Why? There has been no answer in that context. That is, what is the lessons that we can take from the emergency period? अच्छा भूल जाते हैं. Yes, Anjali, God bless you and happy birthday. A few days ago, also some of you were having birthday. So happy birthday and God bless you. I could not see your message that day. Okay. So today we are going to talk about the topics. The first one is, of course, about emergency. Okay. We will talk about this emergency chapter, that why this has been, like, what lessons we can take from there. We are not going to talk about that what happened during that time, what didn't happen during that time, but we will talk about this, that for any democracy, what is the basic necessity? For any democracy of the world, what is some basic necessity? So that is one topic which we are going to discuss. The second one which we are going to discuss is about SCO defense meet. So for the first time in the recent months, there has been a very tough stand by India. You may have seen this one thing. In this week itself, we have discussed about SCO, the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. We have seen how many members it has got. We have seen about this SCO, the basic structure and all part. So there was this defense meeting of SCO, and a tough stand has been taken by India in this regard. So we will talk about that. Then we are going to talk about this one major issue, India-Bangladesh relation. So this is going to be one of the most important topic for today. We are going to analyze it, that in the Sheikh Hasina period and post Sheikh Hasina period, what has been there in India-Bangladesh relation. Plus at the same time, what do we need to do in this case? So that is going to be our third topic. The fourth topic is about one very important news, that while our census is going on, there is also an international summit with respect to this demographic registration. So we will talk about that also. And finally, we will talk about this one Idukki Dam, where it is located and what is the location of it, on which river, in which area. So this is one thing which we are going to discuss in today's session. Okay. So since we have many topics, today we are not taking the practice questions, like we have to discuss a mains related article. So in next session we will discuss questions. But today we are going to start with this first, emergency, the dark chapter in Indian history. Okay. So let us start with this. The first lesson which we get from here is, democracy is fragile if there is no vigilant citizens. Okay. So first lesson which we get from here is, there is always a requirement of vigilant citizens. Even if a government is doing very good, a vigilant citizen is still required, the one who is going to question each and everything. Okay. It's not necessary that everyone has to be like, that Banrakas. Okay. So everyone doesn't have to be like Manrakis, but then yes, the spirit will be same, that you have to question. You have to question each and everything. Okay. So that is one part, that there is always a requirement of this vigilant citizens. Second thing is, there is always going to be requirement of stronger institutions like judiciary, institution like parliament. Okay. So again, what we require is this strong institutions, which can ensure that there is a check and balance. When the governments are overturned, when the governments are thrown in Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Nepal, or other regions, why are governments overthrown by a mob? Government is overthrown by the mob just because the institutions are not that much powerful. In India, there has been a very dark chapter, that is this emergency. But despite emergency, what we have seen, that there has been one election, and that election led to the ousting of the government. So it has been done in a democratic way. So there is always a requirement of this strong institution. The third part, in the institution, there is one thing which we always require, assertive judiciary. Whenever there is a question, like nowadays, whenever we are having this discussion that judiciary is having that enormous amount of power, judiciary is having its own appointment, and of course there is a challenge with democracy, this judiciary. Of course there is a challenge with judiciary, it needs reform. But at the same time, judiciary must be always and always independent from executive. That is the first and foremost requirement. And it must always be independent from executive. That is the prime requirement for any democracy to function. The next thing which we required is the media, press freedom. The another thing which we require is press freedom. So if there are certain YouTubers who are away from the main league and they are questioning the government, that should not be seen as a threat to integrity of country or a criticism of the government. That should be seen simply as a part and parcel of democracy. So that is also one thing which is always required. A free media is the prime requirement for any democracy. Then we also see that there is a requirement of internal democracy. Internal democracy in political parties. So there is also requirement of this internal democracy in political parties. Otherwise, there is a rise of authoritarian leader. When you don't have democracy in party, there is a rise of nepotism, there is a rise of authoritarian leader, and that is much more harmful for democracy. There is always a requirement that civil society must always remain active. Civil society must always remain active. So that is another requirement. Okay. Then the constitution. Why there is a supremacy of constitution? Because the power to any government is not given by, not like they have got this power from any such war or any such battle. They have got it from the constitution. They have to abide by constitution. If a political party gets 543 MPs out of 543 MPs, then also they will not have the power to overturn the constitution. So if a party is getting all the 543 seats in Lok Sabha, then also they have no such power to change this constitutional setup or to change the basic structure of constitution. So there is always a requirement, and that is basic structure or supremacy, a supremacy of constitution. Supremacy of constitution. Okay. So there is always a requirement that constitution must prevail after everything. Okay. Then free and fair elections. Free and fair elections. Free and fair elections, they are the prime requirement of it. And also respect for federalism. Respect for federalism. Now, some people may say this, that India is not a federal country. No, in fact, that is incorrect. India is in fact a federal country. Just because we are not following the model of US doesn't mean that India is not a federal country. India is a federation of its own kind. It is just that the states doesn't have the power to secede. But apart from that, states also derive their power from the constitution. Union also derive their power from the constitution. There is a mutual understanding that what is the domain of union, what is the domain of states. So India is in fact a federal country, and there must be a respect for those federal principles. Okay. So if we talk about the emergency, emergency is a reminder. Emergency is a reminder for all the things. For the media, emergency is a reminder for parliament, for the Supreme Court, for the election commission, for the citizens, everyone. This is a reminder for everyone that what is their role in society. What is the role of NGOs in societies? What is the role of civil society in societies or any democracy? So that is one thing, that if we talk about the emergency period, there is a lot of lesson which we may take from there. Okay. So that is one thing, like that is the lessons from emergency. Okay. यूपी का क्लास करने के बाद यूपी का क्लास क्या? Second point, देखो, second point is strong institutions like parliament. What is the role of parliament? Parliament is not a place where just the government will come and tell that this bill has to be passed or that bill has to be passed. Parliament ensures the accountability of the government. So government has to give answers there. It is not a house of the executive. Parliament is not a house of the executive where the executive will come and tell to all the MPs that this is our business of the day and this is what we have to do. Parliament is an institution where there will be questions from the executive that what you have been doing in the country when people have elected you. So executive doesn't control parliament. Parliament controls executive. So that is the parliamentary principle. In same manner, judiciary doesn't come under or doesn't works for the executive. Judiciary is not working either for the executive or the parliament. Judiciary has been given its power from the constitution. CAG, CAG, Comptroller and Auditor General, it has been given this responsibility, constitutional responsibility, to ensure that public money is utilized in a wise manner. There is no misuse of public money. There is a proper audit. If any public money, if 10 rupees is being spent from consolidated fund of India, so there must be a reason behind it. So those institutions which are there, they need to be strengthened. They need to be that much powerful that they can check each and everything. Okay. And in past, we have seen multiple examples of institutions like upholding the supremacy of constitution and ensuring the democracy in country. So that's why these institutions have to work day and night every time for these things. Okay. So I hope that is clear. China alum. So this is one thing, like I expected that all of you will write something about it, but you have not written. Don't worry, I will give you one more task today also, and that will be with respect to India, Bangladesh. Okay, so we will talk about this and then we will see this part. Okay, so this is our first topic. This is our first topic, 50 years since emergency. Now, coming to the second one. That is SCO summit. Now, in this week itself, we have talked about this SCO. We have seen that what is Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Can you tell me that who are the recent members of this SCO? Can you tell me this part, that who have recently joined SCO? Which members have recently joined the Shanghai Cooperation Organization? Anyone? There are two countries which has recently joined SCO as the 9th member and 10th member. Yes. So 10th member is Belarus and 9th member was Iran. So correct. That Iran and Belarus are the recent members who have joined this. Yes. So Iran and Belarus are the recent members who have joined it. So now come to this context. So recently we have the defense minister meeting. We have this defense minister meeting. Of SCO. And whenever there is a meeting, there is generally a release of joint statement. There is a release of joint statement. So this is not something which you have to note down, but it is just a point which you have to keep in mind, that what India has been doing post this Pahalgam and post Operation Sindoor. There has been a demand from the citizens also. There has been demand from different political factions also. In fact, country has been demanding it. That just being a member of the organizations is not sufficient. These groupings must be something which is useful for India. If we just keep on attending the meetings, if we become just part of it, but when it actually matters to us, if there is no such positive thing from those summits or those meetings or those groups, then there is no utility. We are just spending money on going there, bringing gifts, bringing everything. So there must be something outcome which is favorable to India from these meetings. There is a requirement of this, and we need to be assertive for it. So right now what we have seen, that there was this defense minister meeting, and in that meeting India has denied to sign a joint statement. India has not endorsed that joint statement. In the joint statement, why India has not signed it? It was mentioned that some terrorist activity is going on in Balochistan, but there was no mention of Pahalgam. So what we see, that at this joint statement, in the joint statement, there was mention of this Balochistan, that some terrorist activities are going on in Balochistan. But recently we have seen that in Pahalgam there was terrorist attack. TRF, the resistance front, has even taken the responsibility for that. It has even claimed the responsibility for that. TRF has been sponsored by the non-state actors in Pakistan and has been even getting the support from Pakistan government. Despite this, there was no mention of Pahalgam attack and no criticism of it in the joint statement of SCO. So that's why India has said that we are not going to endorse this. Okay. There has been a statement by India that peace and prosperity, they cannot exist with terrorism and proliferation of weapons of mass destruction. Okay. So what has been said by India, that you are all talking about peace and prosperity everywhere, but this can't go with terrorism. Okay. And this weapons of mass destruction. Okay. So while on one hand you are saying that let there be peace in the world, let us unite, let us have trade, it's fine. We can have trade, but only on this condition that there is no such terrorism activities in the area. There is no such weapons of mass destruction in area. So there is a requirement of decisive action against these terrorism. There cannot be a good terrorism and bad terrorism. Terrorism is always bad. It is always bad for each and everyone. So those countries who are using terrorism as an instrument of policy, they need to be named and shamed. So these has been statements of India on this SCO summit. So it can be seen as a policy change. At SCO summits, India has not been taking that much of tough stand, but now what we see that a very tough stand has been taken by India on this SCO summit. So for all other future meetings, this sets the standard that in all other future meetings related to Asia or world, if India is a party there, so there must be some talk about this state-sponsored terrorism. So while everyone is talking about Ukraine and Russia or Israel, Iran and everything, why not discuss about what Pakistan is doing in Pakistan occupied Kashmir, or how they are sending the terrorists in India also. So that is one tough stand taken by India. That is a change of policy. Okay. So this is one thing which has been done by India, that now we are not going to endorse any of those statements which are like taking any part, like any partial take. So this statement was given on behalf of China and Pakistan. This meeting right now, it is going on in China. The SCO summit, defense minister meeting, SCO defense minister meeting, it is going on in China. And in this statement, they have mentioned about Balochistan, but not about Kashmir. That's why India has said that we are not going to endorse it. We are not going to support this statement. I hope this part is clear. Vigilant citizens means the one who are vigilant. Vigilant means aware. Vigilant means aware. Vigilant simply means aware. Those who will question the government. Like you may have seen that series, the Panchayat series, where many people were asking about the question on the road, that when the road is going to be constructed. So from that you can understand that what is vigilant citizen. You can criticize him, but he is a vigilant citizen. He is asking the government. At Panchayat level, he is doing his job. Okay. So that is what we call as vigilant citizen. Now we are coming to the third topic, a major one, and that is with respect to India and Bangladesh. Okay. So there is going to be a meeting with respect to this. There is a meeting of parliamentary committee. Okay. A parliamentary panel is going to have this. Which topic, Saina? Okay, I will come back to this once again. Let us first talk about this one. Okay. So recently, what we see that India and there is going to be a meeting of parliamentary panel, and it is going to talk about this one issue, that what we are going to do about Bangladesh. I think most of you know about this one thing, that in last year, what we have seen that in Bangladesh, the previous prime minister who was there, Sheikh Hasina, she was ousted. She was removed from her post. She fled to India. She has got refuge in India. And now there is an interim government there is an interim government, and in that government, what we have seen so far, that it has not been very much positive for India. There has been absurd and provocative statements by the officials at top level, including this chief advisor Muhammad Yunus. Okay. From the chief advisor Muhammad Yunus also, there has been very absurd and provocative statements. Okay. So we have seen that there has been statements about that China can come and have their setup here, they can control over the northeastern states of India, or there has been statements by some of the ministers, some of the part of their government, saying something like they can block Siliguri corridor or they can do anything in northeast India. So there have been statements from Bangladesh also during the recent times. So in this context, we are going to talk about this one topic. We are going to talk about this one topic, that what has happened in the Sheikh Hasina period and what has happened in the post Sheikh Hasina period. Okay. So let's see this. When we talk about this, in the recent times, there has been multiple visits by Indian prime ministers in Bangladesh, and high level meetings have been taking place during the Sheikh Hasina government. Okay. So if we look at this one part, during this Sheikh Hasina government, what we see that high level meetings, like prime ministers used to go Bangladesh, Bangladesh's prime minister used to come to India. So there have been high level meetings or top level meetings, frequent top level meetings, frequent top level meetings have been there between India and Bangladesh. Things were going quite good. Apart from the issue of this this refugee crisis, most of the time it was very cool and calm relation. Yeah. What we see that during the tenure, there was also action against anti-India group, in Bangladesh. So those groups who were like insurgents and all. So you know that India and Bangladesh are sharing border. So many a times insurgents from different parts used to cross the border. They were getting the support across the border. So during the Sheikh Hasina government, India was having a good tie with Bangladesh. There was crackdown on even those people who were having different actions against India or terrorist activities in India or doing some any criminal activities in India. So they were they were put aside by the Bangladesh government. They were given punishments and all. Many of them were extinguished from that area. So that is one thing which we see. Okay. What we see that there has been various connectivities. Okay. On connectivity part also, we see that a number of work was being done. Okay. Like we have the Mathri Express, Bandhan Express, Mitali Express. Okay. So all these things were there. Kaladan and BIMSTEC. So that was also part of it. Kaladan multimodal project. Multimodal project. Bangladesh, Bhutan, Nepal, India Initiative, BBIN. Okay. BBIN also. Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Nepal Initiative. Okay. Then there were multiple trains running from India to Bangladesh and trains even crossing Bangladesh to go to the northeastern states of India. Okay. So multiple rail lines were also passing through Bangladesh. So that was also one part. Connectivity was also improving. Inland also, waterways also, that was also improving. Okay. If we look at the trade, what we see that in 2010, the trade was only at $3 billion. In 2010, it was only $3 billion, and by 2023, it reached up to $18 billion. Okay. So what we see that from around $3 billion to $18 billion in 13 years. So there was almost 6 times growth. There was almost 6 times growth to this trade part between India and Bangladesh. In fact, Bangladesh was becoming in the neighboring part, in the neighboring part, it was becoming the second largest trading partner. What we also see that, like there was a credit facility also which was being provided to Bangladesh, and credit over 8 billion has been provided to Bangladesh for infrastructure, road and everything. Okay. So a credit up to 8 billion, it was provided to Bangladesh for infrastructure and all. Okay. Even cross-border electricity and all other things were also going on. Okay. There was this deal about various enclaves, okay, deals over enclave sharing. So this was also there in 2015. You may have seen that certain enclaves which were there in India was transferred to India, and Indian enclaves in Bangladesh was transferred to Bangladesh. So what we see that, like, many things have been resolved in India. We are sharing more than 54 rivers. We are sharing more than 54 rivers, and apart from Teesta river, in most other rivers the disputes were resolved, or there was no dispute at all. So we are sharing not one river or two rivers. We are sharing 54 rivers. 54 rivers with that Bangladesh. And apart from the Teesta river, there is no such major dispute. All other disputes have been resolved. So that was also one part. There was people to people tie also. There was good connectivity, like there are many students from Bangladesh who were coming to study in India. So all these things were going on between India and Bangladesh. And then what we see that there was a change in government. Now, right now the interim government is going on, and it has been said that now there is going to be election in Bangladesh. There is going to be election in Bangladesh. So there are multiple scenarios. One scenario is BNP, the Awami League, which was party of Sheikh Hasina. Suppose that if Awami League comes back in power, so then we can expect that relations might improve at a faster rate. If Awami Leagues come back into power, maybe Sheikh Hasina will not have that much hold now, but things will improve, because during this Sheikh Hasina government, India was having good ties with even military of Bangladesh. So that was also one good part. Second thing is, if this BNP comes into power, so they have a leaningness towards China. If BNP comes into power, that is going to be a challenge for India. And if there is a military backed government, suppose none of them succeeds, and it seems to be likely that none of them are going to succeed, and in that case, if there is a military rule, so you know that military rule is a very challenging part. There is no certainty, because in military rules there is often coup, and when there is a coup, then again new military leader will come. So it is not a very good condition. There is always uncertainty. Okay. So in this part, if we talk about this, that what is the way forward for India? What is the way forward in current condition? Like, what can be done by India? So here we can see that we need to have multi-partition ties. We need to have this multi-partition ties. We need to have this multi-partition ties. Okay. Means suppose that even if BNP is coming to power, it's not that we will leave it or we should leave it. We should try to have ties with them also. ultimately everything comes to economy. Bangladesh has no other options than India. In last year also, when we were talking about India and Bangladesh relation, so there was a very good line which I have told you in the classes also, that India need to believe in the centrality of geography and economy. We need to have that belief in centrality of geography and economy, that ultimately it will come to this. In geography sense, Bangladesh is bounded from all sides by India. So there is no other alternative. Second part, economy. Economy drives diplomacy. So again, what we need to do is, we need to expand economic and development project. We need to expand economic and development project. Let me give an example. In the beginning of 2024, India was not having a good relations with Maldives also. India was not having a good relations with Maldives also. So after a little bit of signaling that what we can do with respect to Maldives, how we can affect their trade, tourism and all, after giving a little bit of hint, then you will find that from the month of March, April itself, India started giving more and more economic benefits to Maldives. India started giving more and more economic benefit to Maldives in terms of greater quotas, in terms of greater investment and all. So in that sense, again, we need to focus on this part, that economy will drive the diplomacy. We need to strengthen that part. Okay? So that is one thing. Then suppose that right now the conditions are not in our favor, like the government to government exchange may not be very much favorable. So we have already started a second thing, track to diplomacy. After the Operation Sindoor, one of the best initiatives ever was to send a parliamentary group to different countries. And the best part was that it was not from one single party, it was from all the parties of the India. All the important parties who are there, all the important leaders who are there, they have been sent for meetings across the world. So this track to diplomacy is again a very important tool in improving any relation. So that is also something which we need. So we also need to have the next important thing, that along with this, we need to work with other countries. Okay. We need to build like a partnership, with like-minded countries. Like right now we have options of United Kingdom, we have the option of European Union, we have the option of Japan, Australia, etc. So we need to come together. I have not mentioned United States, like we don't want to mention United States now because no one knows what US is going to do. Okay. For the next 4 years, we cannot mention US in any such example. The way they are going, they don't know about their future. How we can say that we can have a group with them. Okay. So this is one part. Okay. So I hope that is clear. Yes, there is this one question from Megha, and then there is one person, Rohan Babu. Okay, Rohan and Babu also. You have added Babu by yourself. So why are you here? So here we have this one thing. Is it really wise for India to spend so much of money for their neighbors for the infrastructure, their development, and later on these countries refuse India or they are against India? Yes, sometimes investment goes wrong. When you are investing in a stock market, when you are investing in stock market, some of the investment goes wrong, but it doesn't mean that you will not invest on them. Maybe the same thing is going to give you return in a later course of time. So it's not that you have to withdraw it out of it immediately. You have to just wait and watch. And in many cases, it will rebound. It is going to give you that benefit in long term. So that's why, like, we need to invest with the countries. There is one thing which you always have to keep in mind. You can always change the history. You can always change the history, but you cannot change the geography. You can change the history, you can amend relations, but you cannot amend geography. You cannot put Bangladesh out of here and send them to South China Sea. Okay. If they go to South China Sea, they will have a dispute with China. Because in South China Sea, all those countries who are there, they are having disputes with China. Okay. So that is one part. So this is one thing which we can see from here, that some investment goes wrong, some investment becomes helpful later also. So we have to keep on investing. Okay. So that is why this topic was there, India-Bangladesh relation. How has been the relation in past and what can be the future? Okay. So this is one part. Now, coming to this one news article, there has been a third ministerial conference on civil registration and vital statistics. Civil registration and vital statistics. So its last meeting, if you look at this, its last meeting was there in 2015, approximately 2015, 14-15. Okay. So at that time, it was having this conference. Last conference was in 2020, 2014. And right now, this is the third conference. This is the third conference. And what we see that in this conference, the government of the world's, like, it is part of United Nations, like a social and economic program. Okay. So what we see that as part of this, the countries have come together. They have decided that they are going to have a better registration, a better system for registration of birth, death, marriage, etc. So that is one thing which the discussion is all about. Okay. This civil registration and vital statistics, it is just talking about this, like, that there must be a very robust system for registration of the demography, birth certificate, death certificate. Why they are doing? There are multiple benefits. First, we will get to know the actual status of population. Second thing is, with the help of these birth and death certificate, there is going to be lesser frauds in any country or in any part. Okay. Third thing which we see that it is also providing many such benefit to the citizens. Like if people are having birth certificate, their nationality and everything can be proved. If people are having this legal identity, it will provide them access to education, health, welfare. Okay. So it can also be a legal proof for inheritance or even marriage. Okay. So for all these things, they are going to require this birth certificate and death certificate. So that's why this countries of the world, they have signed a deal that they are going to improve. They are going to improve their system of registration. It has been said that right now across the world, there are 14 million children in Asia Pacific region who are not registered by their first birthday. Means around 1.4 crore people are there who are of almost 1 year of age, but they have no registration. There is no legal identity of them. So birth certificate is very much required for legal identity of any person. So that's why it has been said that we must evolve a better mechanism to have a proper birth registration. In India, now it is being said that we have more than 80 to 90% registration. When the census figure will come, then we will get to know more about this one. Okay, so that's it is a very small news article. No need to go in very much detail of it. Just know about this, that it is a UN sponsored program where there is a discussion about this, that we are going to have a very good registration system of birth as well as death. So that is the only thing which is required here. Okay. So this is one part, demographic registration. One last topic is there, and then after I will give you a question. Okay. After this I will give you a question. So here there is one topic. This is the Idukki reservoir. If you look at the top view, it appears like this. So very good destination. But nowadays, due to rainfall, the erratic rainfall, cloud burst, if you are planning to go anywhere near the Himalayas or Western Ghat, go on your own risk. The things which are happening across the country right now, like in various religious sites also, in various tourist destinations also, the flood which is coming and the landslides which are occurring nearby, it is so dangerous. Okay. So in fact, it has been like causing various tragedies also. There have been death of several people. So that is one of the challenge. Okay. So this is the Idukki reservoir. If you look at this, it is there in the state of Kerala. Okay. And it is located on the same Periyar river. It is located on the same Periyar river. Now, if you look into, there is another dam here, which is the Mullaperiyar Dam. So last year it was there in the news. Last year it was there in the news, Mullaperiyar Dam. So can you tell me something interesting about this Mullaperiyar Dam, that when it has been constructed, where it is located, and who has ownership over it? Who has the ownership over it? So this is one thing which we have discussed in the previous session. Rainfall is high everywhere except Delhi. In New Delhi, there was one day rainfall and then everything is gone. Now it is only humidity, humidity, and humidity. So rainfall is taking place in all the states except New Delhi. So if you have some excess amount of cloud in your city, in your location, you can transfer it to Delhi. If you have more clouds over your location, just transfer it. Okay. So tell me about this Mullaperiyar Dam. Like, why it was famous? Why this is famous? Why the Mullaperiyar Dam is famous? Owned by, like, it is being operated or it is under the control of Tamil Nadu, but it is present in Kerala. There are two rivers, Mulla River and Periyar River. This dam, if you look at it, it is more than 100-year old. It has been like designed in 1890s. So it is almost 125 years plus. 125, 130 years old dam is there. So this dam, it has been given on a lease for 999 years to Tamil Nadu. Okay. So this has been given to Tamil Nadu, but it is there in Kerala. And it is like very old dam. This is very important and old dam. It is very important for irrigation in the regions of Tamil Nadu. Okay. So last year we have discussed about this one topic also, that when we talk about Tamil Nadu, it is facing water crisis from all sides. Okay. It is having water crisis from all sides, and that's why there is always a continuous demand from Tamil Nadu to have more and more water. So that is one of the part. Okay. Mathura also need cloud. So those who are, Acha Shiv Shankar, you can send this cloud to Mathura also, and just a little bit more ahead, you can send it to Delhi also. Okay. So you might be getting the rainfall from the Bay of Bengal branch. You can just push it a little bit harder, and then it will come to Mathura also, and then it can come to Delhi. Okay. So Anita, there is Bay of Bengal branch. You have to just push it towards western side. Okay. So those who are having excess rainfall, just push it towards the western states. Let's have more like unity in the country. Let's have more unity and more equal distribution of resources. So if water resources coming in excess amount in Bihar and West Bengal, just push it a little bit towards the western side. Let the Bay of Bengal branch reach at least up to Delhi. Okay. Then we will get some water. Okay. Any question or any doubt? I am giving you one question. Okay. I am giving you this one question. In the present geopolitical scenario, discuss the challenges for India in its neighborhood. What should be the future course of action what should be the future course of action for India? So we are making it a broader question. We are not talking only about Bangladesh. We are talking about all the countries, all the neighbors. So here the question is, in the present geopolitical scenario, discuss the challenges for India in its neighborhood. So it is about the present geopolitical scenario, not of the past. We have to talk about the present scenarios. And then what should be the future course of action for India? So that is one part which we have to write. Okay. हाथ नहीं पहुंच रहा है cloud तक. You can have like what do kite and all. You can have those patang, the kites, and then you can try to like have this cloud all along the try to have your kite all along this cloud. Then you can just push, then you can just rotate it, and using the centrifugal force you can release it in a particular western direction, then it will reach. Don't you watch Indian movies? In Indian movies and Indian serials, all these things happen every day. They defy gravitation, and you are just talking about clouds. Okay. In our movies and series, they defy all the gravitational force, all the electromagnetic force, everything. You have to do just one thing. You have to just take a stairs, or you have to just take your kite. You have to bind the cloud in that thing, and using the centrifugal force, you can release it in the western side. Okay. So that is one thing which can be done. Artificial rain has been planned. Artificial rain has been planned in India, Delhi this year also. Let's see when it comes. Okay. So any other question apart from the clouds, that how to reach the cloud? Apart from this, any other question? In South Indian movie, you won't have to even you won't even need a rope or anything. You have to just send one of those weapons which they are carrying. Okay. you can simply send one of those weapons which is used for cutting the coconut. You can just send it there, and with the help of that, half of the cloud will remain at your place and the remaining half will reach Delhi via Mathura. So that can be easily done. Okay. So that will be all for today. Let's meet in the Monday session and then we will discuss about the clouds and other things. Write this one question and then we will talk about remaining topics in the next session. Okay. That will be all for today. Thank you everyone. Take care and all the best. Enjoy the weekends. Don't watch the Panchayat series until I complete it. Okay. So thank you so much. Take care.